She's still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new spin of complaints here. Here's one from her most recent episode.
Illustrious men.
And that's annoying because she's supposed to be the star. Michelle Obama. This dovetails perfectly with so many other comments she's made about how she is like, what about me? What about me? What did those 8 years in the White House do to my soul? And why isn't anyone asking? They shouldn't have to be told to ask about how I'm doing.
Michelle Obama. Yes, that Michelle. Turned kale and cardigans into cultural icons. Her side part as strategic as her slogans. From the White House, she descended not just as First Lady, but as a wellness deity wrapped in spinach smoothies and catchphrases like, when they go low, we go high. The branding? Flawless. The messaging? Irresistible. She became America's lifestyle czar, ruling over yoga mats and school gardens with elegance and precision. But beneath the glow was less grassroots grit and more glossy reinvention. Clean eating was championed mid-flight between brunches with Beyoncé, a world away from food deserts and factory lunches. Her health revolution sparkled with curated aspiration, less sweat, more image. Michelle didn't just promote wellness. She sold a dream of it, airbrushed and aspirational. A muse for green juice devotees and gated community dwellers alike. Her glow-up was less about common ground and more about a polished, premium fantasy.
Michelle, it's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
I think you're 100% right. This is only her third episode. I can't think of anybody I would go to for advice less than Michelle Obama. She really doesn't know what she's talking about. First of all, she loves to tell us she hated Barack for a good decade.
Yes.
Okay, please teach me how to have a successful relationship
with
someone that you clearly respect and admire.
Michelle Obama, the one woman who could gentrify a school lunch and deliver a keynote without missing a beat. She didn't just promote vegetables. She elevated the sweet potato into a symbol of national virtue, rich in beta-carotene and moral fiber, punctuated by that signature side-eye. Less facial expression, more divine proclamation. When she left the White House, it wasn't an exit, it was an ascension. She rose on a cloud of kale chips and filtered radiance, trailing motivational quotes polished to a high-gloss sheen. It wasn't a goodbye. It was the soft launch of a lifestyle brand engineered for maximum inspiration.
Just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Just listen to what I said, right? Like, it's probably, if you're having some issues in your marriage, it's not you, it's the process of marriage.
Remember, when they go low, we go high? Oh, yes, high. As in 40,000 feet above reality. Cruising the Gulf Stream en route to a Hollywood rooftop brunch where the air is filtered and the avocado toast comes with a side of cultivated elitism. It wasn't just a quote. It was a brand manifesto, aspirational and exclusive. Let's be honest. Her childhood obesity campaign wasn't about kids. It was about aesthetics. It turned cafeteria trays into Pinterest-ready mood boards, curated more for optics than impact. Kale chips, quinoa, and a quiet whiff of superiority, all plated with that signature Michelle Obama grin. The one that radiates poise while softly whispering, "You're welcome."
It just doesn't feel organic at all.
It reads
same photo. They both posted the exact same photo. So clearly staffers put all of this together.
Okay. And also, can we ask the lawyer in you to parse these statements? Because, okay, let's take Barack, for example. You still take my breath away. How?
Right.
With your anger? With your complete inability to just get with the program and show up?
At the inauguration, so I have to walk in like a lonely soldier?
Exactly. And then tell people you're mad because I was laughing with Donald Trump?
Right.
Maybe you're taking my breath away for that reason.
Michelle Obama's legacy isn't hope. It's hope with subscription fee and a branded tote. You can't preach relatability in Balenciaga while discussing food insecurity between catered panels. She didn't just redefine authenticity. She monetized it, digitized it, minted it like an NFT, limited access, maximum gloss. She's not offering help. She's selling aspiration. Inspiration, now available in serum form. Smooth on daily, feel instantly uplifted. Comes bundled with a TED Talk and just enough moral high ground to keep you reaching. Michelle isn't here to serve the people. She's curating the experience. And like any luxury brand, she doesn't want to feed you. She wants to be the reason you stay hungry. For more sparkle, more message, more Michelle.
Publicly, which leads me to Michelle Obama. Every day she's dropped another negativity bomb on us, whether on her podcast or on someone else's. I mean, this audience knows she never says anything positive. It is all complaints. So she goes on another podcast. She's promoting her show, so she's making the rounds. The Diary of a CEO podcast, and actually found a way to about how hard it is to live in the White House.
But don't worry. While kids across the country mourn their confiscated snacks under Michelle Obama's anti-junk food crusade, she was sealing a multi-million-dollar Netflix deal. Because when you think binge-worthy, of course you picture Michelle, teleprompter in hand, serenely musing about community gardens, edge-of-your-seat stuff, move over, Spielberg, make room for the queen of quiet inspiration, her brand of entertainment. Imagine a TED Talk fused with HR compliance training, then steeped in chamomile until all narrative tension dissolves. She called it inspirational. The rest of us called it ambient noise, best enjoyed with subtitles, a cozy blanket, and the gentle hum of a brand cashing in on calm.
And we just accept that money, power, and privilege are perfectly justifiable forms of affirmative action, while kids growing up like I did are expected to compete when the ground is anything but level. You know what, Michelle? Same. And I'm white. I didn't have any of those advantages. I showed up the day of the SAT. I was like, it's the SAT today? Oh, shit, okay. My friend loaned me a pencil. I never took a review class. We didn't have the money for anything. Like, it's not just a black thing.
And speaking of media makeovers, let's not forget that Michelle Obama, once cast as a reluctant public servant, has spent her post-White House years clutching the spotlight like a designer handbag. Her brand whispers, I didn't ask for fame, but screams, asterisk, since I've got it. Check out my /$50 journal and matching hoodie on Shopify. Asterisk 1 minute, she's preaching humility. The next, she's on a stadium-lit book tour with pyrotechnics and ticket prices rivaling Beyonce's. Because nothing says modesty like shelling out /$500 to hear messages that could fit on a Pinterest quote card. Then there's the book, the ultimate shrine to self-importance. 400 pages of self-branding so polished it practically sparkles. It reads like a collab between a wellness influencer and an over-caffeinated PR intern. Long on affirmations, short on substance. You'll find musings on the burden of fame, the fatigue of adoration, and of course, the importance of finding your power, ideally while wearing her branded hoodie. It's a billionaire self-help guide, delivered via ring light, curated for the rest of us mortals left to find inspiration somewhere between her merch table and a motivational Instagram reel.
Every word she says about Barack Obama is negative. I can't think of her sitting there just waxing poetic about him, complimenting, he's brilliant, he's a great dad, he was the greatest president, whatever a normal wife of Barack Obama would say. Every time she opines, it's something that reflects poorly on him, how he's insensitive, how he's not a talker, how he doesn't know how to relate to people, he doesn't keep the same schedule as she does, and now we're talking about you can have a bad decade in a marriage?
Meanwhile, let's keep pretending Michelle Obama is still the every woman we fell for in 2008, a grounded, working mom just like us. Except now that mom jets off to Italy with a glam squad, a professional makeup artist, and a security detail robust enough to annex a small country. She's no longer a person. She's a brand so polished, if she ever got a paper cut, it'd be from one of her own business cards. With more stylists than the Kardashians, she still manages to lecture America about authenticity with a straight face. Let's take a moment for her fashion icon era, because nothing says humble public service like arriving at state dinners dressed like a Vogue editorial. Apparently, the solution to childhood obesity was hiding it under a custom Valentino gown. She turned the First Lady role into a full-time runway, offering side-eye to anyone who dared suggest this wasn't exactly relatable. But hey, it's all for the kids, right? That's why we sat through a dozen glossy photos of Michelle in bespoke designer dresses, while she told children to skip dessert.
She's angry and unhappy. I've watched enough of her over the years, and then with this ridiculous podcast she's trying to launch to see she's a deeply unhappy person.
What's happening with people at that level in podcasts? What's Gavin Newsom doing?
He's running for president. That one makes more sense to me strategically. She's like, she should be in her therapist's office. Her brother Craig is not. Oh, he did?
Yeah, what do you think I should do?
I don't support it.
Yeah?
Well, My feeling is Gavin Newsom is using people to build up his skills so that he can more effectively debate the Republican nominee.
And then there's Michelle Obama's uncanny gift for turning even the most mundane mishap into a grand moral epiphany. Stuck in traffic? A metaphor for resilience. Burnt your toast? Time for a personal transformation. Every moment bends toward the same shining truth. Michelle is flawless, and maybe, just maybe, you should try emulating her mindset. She doesn't just speak. She narrates like she's fronting a 12-part Ken Burns documentary titled Elegance in Motion. Her inspirational talks don't so much uplift as gently bludgeon you with humble brags marinated in self-reverence. You walk away feeling like you've endured a TED Talk where the real takeaway is, by my memoir, eat your greens and bask in my glow. It's not motivation. It's a lifestyle infomercial, swaddled in silk and sequins and dusted with perfectly timed side eyes. Each one choreographed with the precision of someone who knows the highlight reel is always rolling.
We grew up with women who weren't voicing the pain and the burden. They made it look easy. And when you make stuff look easy, people assume that you must like this.
Yeah.
It's okay with you, right?
Right.
Remember when Michelle Obama dropped that quirky Netflix cartoon for kids, all about healthy cooking? Because obviously what toddlers really crave is animated veggies and a squash voiced by Michelle herself. That's the kind of ego that says, asterisk, sure, I'm out of office, but the world clearly needs me as a talking zucchini teaching kids how to zest lemons. Asterisk somewhere, Big Bird is quietly weeping, but don't you dare question her. Criticizing Michelle Obama's motives is like asking the Pope about his hat. Sacrilege. She's been wrapped in so much celebrity sainthood that she could bottle filtered tap water and people would hail it as revolutionary. Her followers treat her like she cured cancer with a kale smoothie and a motivational quote. Drop her name in any room, and half the crowd tears up, while the other half pulls out their wallet for a leadership retreat. Because once you voice produce, there's no limit to your inspirational power, especially when it comes with merch.
The greatest beauty who'd ever walked the face of the earth, then left to write her best-selling memoir for which she was paid millions, then signed a Netflix deal for which she was paid millions, is giving speeches for which she's getting paid almost $1 million per speech, has 2 daughters who went to Harvard and USC. The two of them together, I haven't even counted her husband's riches. They're definitely billionaires by now. The house in Martha's Vineyard, which is, I think, $20 million out on the yachts of David. What happened to me? Why doesn't anyone think about what happened to me during my... I'm enraged. I'm almost speechless at how ridiculously out of touch this person is, Glenn.
And let's not forget Michelle Obama's favorite pastime, critiquing America from the comfort of a luxury vacation suite. Every time she hits the road, we get another dramatic entry in her daily disappointment diary. Another tale of how the country has somehow failed her again. She seems genuinely stunned that anyone dares to disagree, as if dissent is a personal betrayal. In Michelle's world, if you're not applauding her every word, you're clearly part of the problem. There's no room for nuance, only fanfare or cold shoulders. Even her philanthropy feels more like a boardroom brainstorm than a heartfelt gesture, fueled by kale smoothies and branding decks. It's generosity by design, carefully curated for optics and impact metrics. Less charity, more empire building. Another glossy step in a legacy engineered to sparkle.
Is it, Michelle? It's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
Every noble cause somehow aligns perfectly with a product drop, as if social justice is just Michelle Obama's side hustle. Promoting literacy? Amazing. Just make sure to snap that Instagram shot with her signature leather bookmark front and center. Empowering young women? Love it. Now grab the limited edition Michelle-approved hoodie and sip virtue from a stainless steel tumbler that practically whispers, asterisk, I'm better than you. Asterisk, her charity work isn't really about helping people. It's about building a lifestyle empire with a conscience. It's less nonprofit, more motivational merch store with a mission statement. Even donating feels like onboarding into a brand. You can't contribute without accidentally subscribing to her monthly newsletter, curated playlist, and a gentle reminder to buy into the glow.
we would never know who you are if it hadn't been for him.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sure she would say the reverse. He would never have been president if it hadn't been for her. Like, she was the inspo. She was the strength and the force behind the man. But, you know, he was very young. We just actually saw a video of him speaking on the campus of Harvard Law School in favor of, like, more black professors and so on. He still had the Barack Obama orator skills.
Yep.
Like, he was obviously a star in the making from a very young age.
Very young age.
I'm sure she thinks it's her, but I think it actually was him. And some of his ex-girlfriends talk about how he made a choice to align with like this strong black woman as opposed to the white women he'd been dating. And he's half white too.
Yep.
Right. And so like to get him the street cred he needed with Chicago voters where he started.
Meanwhile, the media treats Michelle Obama like the living embodiment of every moral virtue, neatly wrapped in a perfectly tailored pantsuit. She exhales and think pieces follow. She smirks and Twitter erupts in yes queen declarations and odes to her unbreakable strength. She posts a smoothie selfie, and Vogue clears a cover in her honor. Honestly, Michelle could spill hot coffee on a toddler and someone, somewhere, would applaud her for scalding systemic inequality. Here's the irony. Michelle began her career warning against being too ambitious, yet she's turned ambition into a multi-million-dollar lifestyle brand. She's no longer a public servant. She's a public spectacle. Every move is choreographed, every word pre-polished, every candid moment perfectly lit. Even her spontaneity feels like it's been through 3 rounds of committee approval. What once felt like authenticity now reads like a branded TED Talk, complete with lavender candles, a wellness link in bio, and just enough performative guilt to keep you clicking add to cart.
Every word she says about Barack Obama is negative. I can't think of her sitting there just waxing poetic about him, complimenting, he's brilliant, he's a great dad, he was the greatest president, whatever a normal wife of Barack Obama would say. Every time she opines, it's something that reflects poorly on him, how he's insensitive, how he's not a talker, how he doesn't know how to relate to people, he doesn't keep the same schedule as she does, and now we're talking about you can have a bad decade in a marriage?
Let's talk about how Michelle Obama somehow became even more insufferable after leaving the White House. She may have stepped away from politics, but she brought every ounce of political posturing with her. One minute she's dancing with Ellen. The next she's solemnly lamenting how divided the country is. Right before cashing checks larger than the GDP of a small nation. She wants to be above the fray and dead center of it at the same time, a walking contradiction in Spanx and pearls. And please, don't buy the myth that she's still just Michelle from the South Side. Michelle from the South Side isn't spending her summers yachting with George Clooney. She's not guest editing luxury magazines while lounging in $$3,000 boots, sipping matcha in a suite that smells like curated essential oils and unearned reverence. She's about as every woman as a diamond-studded yoga mat. Her real legacy? Turning self-congratulation into a sprawling, multi-platform empire. Michelle is living proof that with the right PR team and a few well-placed anecdotes, you can transform a public service role into a personal industry. She's less a symbol of hope than a masterclass in monetizing sanctimony. And the best part? She's done it all while pretending she hates the spotlight. I didn't ask for this, she says, right before signing on for another Netflix documentary and negotiating fragrance rights. Michelle Obama is the undisputed queen of the humble brag. She'll say, I'm just trying to help, moments before launching a perfume called Resilience. She talks about the little things that matter while taking selfies with celebrities who wouldn't recognize a little thing if it ran them over in a Prius. Her relatable moments are staged with the precision of a Beyoncé album drop or a military operation. Yet despite all the artifice, she expects to be treated like she's speaking truth to power from the back of a bus. Her version of authenticity is pure Hollywood, crafted by stylists, filtered through consultants, and polished until it gleams like a trophy. She's not challenging the system. She's licensing it. At this point, if Michelle launched a line of artisanal air, people would line up with mason jars. Her cult of personality is so potent that her mere presence is treated as a political statement. She doesn't need to speak. A raised eyebrow and the media fills in the sermon. Who needs leadership when you got vibes? In the end, Michelle Obama's true talent isn't activism or leadership or even health initiatives. It's branding. She spun one public role into a lifestyle religion, worshiping curated perfection, inoffensive inspiration, and the illusion of moral superiority, all neatly wrapped in a limited edition hoodie. She's less a person now and more a product.